Before we begin, I would like to say that I am of two minds about this film. On one hand, this could be the most sublime parody, a satire of the most clever presentation that it has duped nearly everyone. If so, good one, Ben. You really put that one over. You pulled the wool right over my eyes. I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. On the other hand, if the viewpoint expressed in this film is forthright and honestly presented, then I think there should be some very serious thought put into this matter. And so we begin. A critique on Ben Stein's film, Expelled. No intelligence allowed. It should come as no surprise that a man whose film more closely resembles a smear campaign than documentary would have difficulty differentiating between academic freedom and academic responsibility. Who would blur the line between philosophy and science to serve his own mission of misinformation? Whose bias and slanted viewpoint would make Kim Jong-il's dictatorial ranting look like an editorial out of the Washington Post? Is this the spokesman the intelligent design community would choose to advance their agenda? Personally, I think their interests would be better served by doing some good sound scientific research. Do the experiments, gather the data, do the analysis, and present the findings in publications found in the scientific and academic community. I, for one, am waiting with bated breath to find out if there is indisputable proof of a metaphysical basis to life. If, however, this work proves to be undoable, then I think it would be prudent to stop insisting that ID is a scientific issue when it is clearly a religious one. And herein lies the crux of the problem regarding the misinformation in the film Expelled. Science, at its core, is nothing more than basic reasoning. Explanations of how things work in the natural world. These concepts, or basic working knowledge, known as theories, are then applied in practice to hopefully improve the lot of mankind and the environment. Every day, countless scientists of every faith and every nationality go to work on countless projects all around the world. Their work could range from creating a better computer system, to producing a higher yielding variety of wheat, to contending with the challenges of a dwindling resource and energy sector, to the effects of climate change. This is hardly the stuff of a big science conspiracy that the seemingly paranoid Stein envisions. In the early portion of the film, Stein repeatedly refers to a pet phrase, academic freedom. As I understand it, academic freedom is the freedom of students to choose the courses and the curriculum at the university they can best afford, providing them with an education that will enable them to achieve their goals in their future endeavors. Personally, I do not see academic freedom as an opportunity for individuals to speak out on subjects in which they may have a personal investment or involvement in the middle of a formal class. Does it really make sense for a professor in the middle of an economics class discussing, say, the global economy, to suddenly start teaching Spanish? To introduce something completely off topic or outside the curriculum? This absurdity serves to illustrate Ben Stein's idea of academic freedom. It is important to know the difference between safeguarding the integrity of a subject and indulging speculative hypotheses without a substantial body of work to support the idea. There is also repeated mention by many of the interviewees about loss of tenure and lack of funding if they mention that their area of research would be the hypothesis of intelligent design. To this, I would respond that if the work is worthy of exploration, then the funding would follow. Conversely, a lack of funding in this area could indicate that it is a less than worthy endeavor. One of the key mantras of the ID community is, "I am only going where the evidence leads." Ben Stein makes use of this seemingly innocent idea on more than one occasion. The weakness in this statement, however, is that the evidence being gathered, in this case by ID protagonists, is predicated on achieving a certain objective. That objective is displaying the assumption of a metaphysical or supernatural force, that would be an intelligent designer, being responsible for all the natural history of the planet, if not the whole universe. When working in this sort of environment, there is a very real danger of ignoring or discounting data that does not fit in with the preordained objective. Methodology becomes the most important factor in research such as this. Science, on the other hand, has no such problem. Because the mandate of science is simply to understand the natural world and discover how to apply these concepts, all data is viewed in the same light. This is the idea behind the scientific method, namely, experiment, observation, analysis, and conclusion.